Hello, Craftin' Buddies. It's Late Night Lori coming to you from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. It is 11:30 p.m. here in Wisconsin on Wednesday, August 20th. Welcome. I am going to get my iPad set up so I can see if there are any other night owls out there joining me. And there's a little bit of a delay, but it looks like I'm good to go. So welcome. Oh, happy Craftin' Wednesday. So my quick commercial, basically, this month, Stampin' Up! Has the 2025 to 2027 in color products on sale for 15% off. If you go to my store and hit the shop button, shop by color, and then click on the 2025 to 2027 products, you'll see a whole boatload of things that are on sale. And for the first 5 or so customers who order at least $35 from me before the end of August, I will be gifting you a cloud cover full-size ink pad. Customers can't get this. Stampin' Up! Is not releasing this particular color because there were some quality issues with the chemical, with the ink and the foam. But demonstrators were able to get it. So the color might not be true to all of the other cloud cover products, but I really like the one I got. So it would be a gift. So it's not like you're wasting money on something because you can't buy it from me. So if you're interested in anything, go take a look at my online store. I had my coffee and a card today at Cat's Coffee House in town. And we had a nice time. We did a couple of the kits from the kids collection, but tonight I am going to keep on my quick and easy card spree. Last night I did one of the kits that we did today in my coffee and a card. We did the birthday surprise kit that now is no longer available. I do still have 1 or 2 of those still available. So if anybody is looking for that kit, let me know. And then we did the birthday fancy kit, I think. It was a lot of fun. So those were quick and easy. And then a couple nights ago, I did the new memories and more cards that are coming out. They're Christmas themed. And those will be available on September 3rd. So tonight, I realized that I haven't used this Kintsugi Inspiration Suite of products for quite some time. And I thought maybe I should use it again because this designer series paper has some of the in colors in it. So it's actually on sale if you're interested in it. But we're going to do just a quick and easy fun fold. And I'm going to use a piece of this paper. I am going to use just this sentiment from the stamp set, You Inspire Me. I actually used the 3D embossing folder on a 7/8 inch by 5.5 strip of Misty Moonlight, and I just laid that in there anywhere, and I ran that through. When you use these 3D embossing folders, if you've got the Stampin' Cut and emboss machine, you just need to use that base plate number 1 and the number 4 plate, that dark gray one, and run your things through when you've got a thick embossing folder. So I did that ahead of time. And this fun fold, I don't know if I've done it on here before or not. It's not a new one. It's not anything I came up with. It was really fashionable a while back. I also used these dies. So this designer series paper sheet, I cut out 2 of the vases, and I have just a piece of the DSP that I have cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5. So basically the full size of a card front. And so I used these 2 dies, and then I used the sentiment die that comes with the kit, or with the bundle, and I took the cloud cover paper and I cut the sentiment piece. All right. Now the sentiment I'm using, the one You Inspire Me, is pretty small. So I didn't really want this sentiment piece that big. So I modified my piece with the die. And I've shown this before. Many of you may already know how to do it, but you can see how this used to be longer. And all you need to do is take your die, run it through and cut your first piece, right? And as long as you're making it shorter, figure out how much shorter you want it, line up your piece, right? So I wanted it about that long. I wanted, you know, maybe a 1/4 inch or so taken off. When you put it in your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, put this edge over the end of the plate and then put your top plate past the end. And when you run it through, and quite honestly, it wouldn't even matter with this one because we're not making it longer, we're making it shorter. So just run this through how you normally would. I'm making it more difficult than it needs to be. And then you'll just cut off that little piece and you'll have a shorter sentiment piece. So all of that when it was much easier making a shorter piece. Anyway, it's been a long day, sorry. And then I have 2 pieces of Misty Moonlight that is 4 1/16, no, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then I have a cloud cover that I've done the same size, and I'm going to kind of play with those. I'm not sure exactly where I want it to lay out because, of course, I didn't make a prototype for tonight's card. It's just kind of in my head. And then, as I mentioned, I took these 2 vases off the paper somewhere, and I die cut them in both cardstock and the designer series paper just because I wanted them to be a little more substantial because they're going to be kind of focal points on the front of our card. I had these couple of die cut pieces from an earlier project that were still sitting on my craft desk, so I might use those, we'll see. But there's a die for the flower to take it right off the designer series paper. So every image on these sheets can be die cut. Okay, I pulled in the flower accents from the suite. We'll probably use some of those. And I wanted to point out that when, I'm going to put this on here, with this die set, when you are cutting out these images, I don't know if you can see this, but maybe it would work better on the white. There is a little bit of an edge around here because the dies are designed to cut it close to the edge so that you don't have the normal white border. All right, so we're not going to have a white border with either of the vases, which I really like for this particular set of images. So let me put this away so I don't lose this too. And you've probably seen me before with my die sets, but I put the number of dies, which is always down here. There are 9 dies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Am I missing one? I usually try to do a head count before I put them away so that I am not missing any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whew. All right, those branches are 2 pieces, and I was thinking it might have been 1, so I miscounted. So anyway, that's all we're going to do there. I've prepped most everything else. So let me get this paper out of the way. We're going to keep those. And I have just a thick basic white card base. So it's my 8.5 by 5.5. I always take my full-size sheet of cardstock. I do my score all the way down first. And then I cut it in half so that I have 2 card bases right off the bat. So for me, it's kind of like work harder, not smarter. For those of you that have been with me before, you know that's how I roll. So you could actually save some paper because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually trim this down. So instead of having it 8.5 wide, I am going to go to, well, I'm going to cut it this way because the math is easier. So instead of 4 1/4 on a half, I'm going to push this over to 5 1/4. So we're just going to have an inch over on this side. So that means I'm going to take off 3 1/4 inches. So save this, but this is what we're looking at. So this is as if it's the front of the card. So now you can probably kind of see what I'm going to do with that Misty Moonlight piece that I have embossed. That's going to get attached right here. All right, so I'm going to burnish this again just because I straightened it out and now it doesn't want to lay quite as flat. And I am Tombow liquid glue person. I was trying to decide what side I want up. This is a tough choice because both sides look really pretty. I think we're going to do this side for the glue. So this is the debossed side, how we would normally run them. But if you have trouble with your green glue, as many call it, you are probably using too much glue. So you can see I might spread my glue around a lot, but it's a pretty thin layer. And then I'm just going to center this because this is 1 inch and this was just 7/8 inch. So I'm just going to have that little 1/16 of an inch going all the way down. And because it's liquid glue, if I don't have it centered quite how I want it, I can shift it a little bit before it sets. If your layer of glue is too thin, it'll set too fast and you won't be able to do that. All right, so gorgeous card, don't you think? So we're going to try to decide if we want cloud cover on the inside or Misty Moonlight on the inside. But first, we're going to work with this. Now, like I said, we cut this so that it's the full size of the front of our card. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to put it this way because I want to see some of this cloud cover because that's going to carry over to the inside of my card. But guess what? I need to have that side up. So I guess we'll just use the Misty Moonlight on here. Or I could cut another piece. Sally! How? Salla! Sally, Salla. Same problem I had last night. I could call you Sal. I don't know if anybody calls you that. It might be easier than me mispronouncing your name, huh? Let me pull out another piece of this. And let's see if this is right side up, because I want to have some of that cloud cover showing. So let's go, we need 4 1/4. Nobody calls you Sal? Well, as long as it's not offensive. I'll just do Sallow, that's fine. This is gorgeous paper, isn't it? So let's see if this gives me enough cloud cover. It does. It gives me some cloud cover there, and I'm kind of happy with that. Let's try one more. No, because this doesn't have any cloud cover on it except for there. And then that's going to be covered because of the design on the back side. So we're going to see both sides of our paper. Because this paper is so pretty, I don't want to hide it. So let me get some of these things so that they're staying together. I feel like I'm losing the continuity of how easy this card really is. So we had, I don't know, when did you get on here, Sala? Did you hear me explain the sizes? So basically this is 4 1/4 like a normal base here in the United States, and then this is just 1 inch. So if you cut a 5 1/2 or 5 1/4 by 5 1/2, just score it with a 1 inch, okay? And then this piece here is 7/8 inch by 5 1/2 inches, and that way I've got just the slimmest little 1/16 inch border on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some glue on the inside of this base, And I want it to be as much to the edges as I can. And of course, again, I'm just using a very thin layer because, like I was saying, if you have trouble with the green glue and you're getting glue all over your fingers and you're having it ooze out everywhere, it's because you're using too much glue. All right. So this piece then I'm putting so it's not on top of the mountain. All right. And then if I close this, it's all lined up. Yep. And I love it too that it shows both sides of the paper when we open the card. All right. So this was my extra piece because I wanted to use that florally color one. But when I put it like this, to have that side show, this design looks upside down to me because it's kind of like trees or a flower, probably a flower. But anyway, I'll use that for a different card. Maybe the same design. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together. So the dies from the set cut this without a border. There's one sheet of the designer series paper that every image on the sheet can be cut out with a die. So there's flowers and there's the vases. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here because I wanted these to be a bit of a focal point. I wanted them a little heavier. So I cut my cardstock and the vase at the same time. And the die goes through the cardstock and the designer series paper without any trouble. Okay. And we'll glue this one on. So I figured I would do my third night in a row with quick and easy cards. All right, so I'm going to put dimensionals all on here. And I'm going to wait on the dimensionals on that one for just a minute. And we're going to go ahead and put this right on the front. And I don't know, I don't want to cover up my cloud cover. I want it a little bit over my Misty Moonlight, just for effect. All right, and then I'm going to put this one kind of like it's sitting in front a little bit. So I'll put a little bit of glue on this side, but I'll put my dimensionals over here. And I'll just put 2 of those. I don't need that many more. And we'll put a little bit of glue on the corner. And this little fun fold has been around for quite a while. I did one a long time ago, so I have no idea where I first saw it or if I got it in a swap or what happened. All right, so there's that. And then let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. And I'll pull in my Pearson mat. So I think I announced last night Stampin' Up! Is phasing out the red rubber stamps. So we are only going to have photopolymer. And I'm actually quite good with that. I really have always loved the photopolymer stamps because if I don't get a good image, I can ink it up and I can usually line things up and try to do it again. I don't have to attach the image in, you know, the cling adhesive. And I'm really good with that. All right, so this, where do you think we should put that? Maybe over here? We'll have a little trio grouping. I think I kind of like that. So let's put, we can put 2 dimensionals there to keep it up. And then we'll just put a little bit of glue on this top corner. Oh, the fold might be a Stampin' Up! Initiated fold. Yeah, I've seen it quite a few places. I haven't noticed anything recently, but I thought this paper is too pretty to hide one side. So let's go ahead and pop that on there. And then these embellishments are gorgeous. I have not used any of mine because I couldn't find them. Fifi, welcome. I'm doing a super easy fun fold tonight and I'm almost done. So I intended on using these. I had them for quite a long time, but they got buried somewhere. I couldn't find them. So I finally uncovered them and I thought, well, I'm going to use them tonight because they are amazing. They're beautiful. I think we'll just put this kind of over here. All right, so now let's just decide if we want cloud cover on the inside or Misty Moonlight, and maybe I should do both. So there's the Misty Moonlight, which ties in the front to the inside, and then I would put a piece of white in here for whatever message I want to put in here. Or we could put this with a white insert also, or I could do both. What do you think? Both? I like the way you think, Fifi. So let's cut this down. I'll just do a 1/16 of an inch first, and we'll see if that's enough. I had those cut down just an 1/8 inch smaller, so I would have a nice little border, just a 1/16 inch border. So I like the way that looks, because we'll have a little bit of white around the edge, and this is light enough that I could use that for a message without having to put white in there, although there is white here. So I'll have to decide. I'll weigh it, and I'll see how much it weighs. If I need more postage, that might make me change my mind about putting a white layer in there, because I don't, if my card goes to 1.1 ounces, it needs more postage. And when it's that small an amount over the limit, I have a problem giving the extra postage. I'm just frugal that way. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I can write on the cloud cover because it is certainly a light enough color. It might look pretty with some white in there. All right. And so I try to line up my top corners knowing how much my border should be, and then I just guide it down with my fingers, and I usually, on a good day, can line it up pretty well. So there's our card. This is, because it's just designer series paper, it is a little lightweight, but I think it is really quite pretty. So then the next thing I would need to decide to do is, okay, should I emboss my flap with the embossing folder, or should I put some of this beautiful paper on it? And we'll see. If I put more paper on it, it might weigh more, because it actually does. Of course, this is lightweight. I might be good, but it feels like it's close. So I will decide. Oh, I was going to do these too, but that might kind of be overkill. I don't know if we really need those, although I could put this one inside. Should I add a flower? On the plain side, on the image side, the pattern side, or not at all? Any input? Yes. All right. So we put the flower on the image side. Yeah, I think that looks good. Just gives a little more personality on the inside. Oh, and Sally, you think on the plain side. So what if I took this off? I'll just take off the dimensionals because I had those done ahead of time. I'll take off this adhesive a little bit here. It's coming off pretty good. I could try to find my eraser, but good enough. I just want to get the bumpy parts off. We could, I could maybe, I don't know. We could kind of lay it over here and cut off the edge a little bit. I don't know. Hello, Teresa, Fifi's friend. Thanks for popping in. Even though I can't see you. I may save this, and when I do my second card, I may put that on the inside on the plain side because I like both of them, but I think two of them almost looks a little out of balance. And this really isn't one where it looks good, you know, like opposite. So I'm going to save this for my next version of this card, and I'll just put it inside when I'm done. Should we do one more quick one or no? I thought I could use the Perfectly Pairs, and this has Darling Duckling and Secret Sea. So you think one's plenty? Oh, one flower. I thought you meant one card. Yeah, it's kind of, oh, thanks for all the hearts, you guys. That's awesome. So this paper is probably on sale with that In Color designer series paper sale, or the In Color sale rather. All right, so let's see which one we like. This one's quite pretty with the green. So this one might work. Let's see if this is wide enough. So this would be wide enough for one layer, or there's, this one is pretty bright, but I like the back side. I love this paper. I was surprised that I liked that dark one so much. All right, so this is number 1. This will be number 2. This is number 3, 4. This one, I think I want to save for a scrapbook layout, so I'm going to take that one off the table. And then we have this one. This is going to be pretty dark on the inside, so I don't know if this is our best choice, because I don't know that I really like that for the outside of the card. But we'll end up doing probably one of these pairs as a focal point. So number 1, number 2, I'm just, that's a lot of brightness to me. 1 or 3, yep, I saw that, Fifi. This could be pretty, but that's a lot of that Darling Duckling in there. This one I think could be pretty as well. So, Sala, what do you think? 1, we're gonna make this 1, 2, or 3. No, 1, that was 2. So this is 3. Fifi, is this the one that you meant as your number 3? So 1, 3, or 4. I am going to go get, I think an old olive card base. So let's see. 1, 3, and 4. Yes, it is hard to pick. So I'm going to go with this one just because it's already kind of cut. And then I'm going to take a focal point off of here, I think. And I might get a blending brush and add a little bit of, I don't know if that's Calypso Coral. No, it's, it's got to be Petal Pink. It looks like Calypso Coral. Oh, so she's watching from her TV. That's cool. I have a hard time getting stuff streamed to my TV sometimes. So let's start with this. And let me not lose these and the gorgeous ribbon. Petal Pink. Yeah, because there's Petal Pink here. So I've shown this gorgeous ribbon before. So this is Mossy Meadow and Gold trim. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Old Olive is in here. And Petal Pink. So I think let's do a quick little die cut here. The ribbon is gorgeous. So we're going to die cut that. We're going to die cut the leaves, and I think while we're at it, we'll die cut the pair of pears. That's kind of funny, the pair of pears. So let me just trim this down to go 6 inches, and then if I go 4, yeah, if I go 4, that'll work. I can get everything out of this side here. So let's get a little bit of washi tape here, and I will try to cut these all in one fell swoop. Now these will have a little bit of a border. The Kintsugi ones do not have a border. And that will just overlap a little bit, so I'll have to cut that one separate, but that's okay. We'll just want it through. And then I think that'll be good. So let's put this over here so I don't lose it. And then I'll get this out of the way. We'll bring out my little machine here, my Bossy Betsy. And run this little baby through here. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I was talking with some other demonstrators tonight that I have regular meetings with, and we were talking about, you know, do we do Facebook videos or YouTube videos? And when I said, yeah, I've been doing a video every day, they're like, what? Yeah, every day. It's kind of fun. You get to where you're just used to doing it. What do I need? The leaves. So I kind of miss it when I think about the possibility of not doing a video. I feel like I'm going to miss out. And it is a lot. It's fun for me when, you know, there's people here interacting and collaborating and sharing in the choices, because I think it just adds to the creative process, you know. Fifi, yours are good though. I think most people that I communicate with just do one video a week. But I kind of had a goal set for myself. I wanted to be able to say I had hundreds of videos. And I do, because I have over 200 videos now. So I can say, yeah, I've got hundreds of videos on my channel. And hopefully there's stuff for, you know, different interest levels, you know. I know everything I do is probably not everybody's cup of tea. Yes, definitely doing the videos has helped me get in my crafting space every day and use my things. So I am cutting this to 5¼ inches. I already had it scored, so you could use a 5¼ by 5½, and then just on the shorter side, go down and make your score at 1 inch. I'll just use that for another piece. It's just easier for me to do the math when I don't have to think a whole lot. All right, so that doesn't want to go very flat, but that'll be all right. And then where was the piece? So this one's too narrow. This is the one that I think yeah, that's the one I'm going to use. I just have to cut it down to the right size. Yeah, I know you can't please everybody all the time. And some people like really short videos. Some people like the longer ones. And mine used to be shorter. But that was also when, you know, I was just starting to do my videos every day. And people didn't realize that I was doing videos. So if they were catching the replay, of course, you can't comment. So it goes a little longer when there's people commenting, but you know, I don't mind. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue in here right away so I can tidy up some of my loose pieces. And I'm going to use that little scrap of old olive cardstock, and I'm going to cut more pieces so that I can make those focal points a little bit more sturdy. And again, I want my designer series paper. Oh, I'm glad you're sad when it's over. There are some nights I look at the clock and I'm like, oh my goodness, we went almost an hour, but the time to me goes so fast. It seems like 20 minutes. All right, so I'm really happy with that. And what I want to do is, instead of embossing a different piece on here, I want to put the ribbon around here and do a pretty little bow, I think. Okay, I think that's what I want to do. And then we'll be able to see that highlighted on the inside as well. And then for the inside, let's just back up a minute. I'm going to go ahead and cut these pieces out so I can put them together. And these I can do all together. See, I knew there was a reason why I needed that scrap of paper, right? Because these don't have to, that's got a little magnet in there. A little magnetized. They're not going to overlap when I'm doing it just on the cardstock. All right. So put these back on my magnet so I don't lose them. And that can go in my recycle. Yeah, when I do the videos every day, I did find that, like I was saying, I am in my crafting space every day. And I'm not only buying things that I like, I'm using things that I like. And that's the important part, because I can look at some of my older things and I really like them, but then I can see, oh my goodness, I never got around to using them, which is really sad. So now, you know, everything I've gotten, I think I've used everything. So Sala, congrats on doing your first YouTube Live. You were on for over 5 hours. Wow, that is amazing. How many projects did you do, and what kind of projects did you do? When you're filming, you can't be shopping. You are correct there. So Fifi, you were not on last night. Sala, I think it was last night we were talking about your art education and the fact that you do a variety of mediums. You've been out of town. Yeah, were you going to see family, Fifi? I forgot. I apologize for not being up on that. And what is an ATC? Family. All right. Well, I'm glad I remembered at least that little piece. And I don't know what a Zine is either. Fifi, did I just say this or did I lose my train of thought? Sala is from Finland, so she does not have Stampin' Up! Products, if I recall correctly. And my ribbon scissors are somewhere else, so I'm just going to use my snips. Well, I'm excited that you did your first YouTube Live. That's awesome. It's all about just starting, right? Think big, start small, act now. You'll get it done. All right, so let's see how well I can tie bow. I'm going to get my reverse tweezers. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you caught the replay. I'm putting my reverse tweezers on here just to help me a little bit. Artist training card. It's a very small card, 2.5 by 3.5 or something like that. Oh, well, that's interesting. I didn't realize there was such a thing. You should maybe pop over to my Facebook page and add a picture in the comments so that I know what they are. Well, Fifi, you're way ahead of me. I've never heard of them before. A Zine is a printer paper folded in 8 sections. Oh. Well, that's pretty cool. Who knew? Not me. I lead a very sheltered life. All right, so now we've got the mossy meadow shown on the outside. I might want to change that. I kind of like the gold on the outside, but I've got the mossy meadow there. This will be fine. This will be fine. There. Sometimes I really struggle with my bows, but it's all right. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna trim this like so, like so. I can always futz with it later if I need to. All right, so now let's go ahead and find some dimensionals for this. They're here somewhere. One more, why not? Let's put this away before I lose anything. I'll have to look up artist training cards. Unless you're going to send me a picture of some of yours. Of course, if you did a YouTube Live, I could go find the replay, right? Card times ahead. I'll have to do that. All right, so let's put this. I think we're going to put that over there. We'll put a couple of dimensionals on the leaves. It's a struggle sometimes for me to get these off. Whoop. Put it on the right way. Oh, and then I was going to put some petal pink. Was that it? Petal pink. You know, I could probably get an alcohol blend, so. We'll do the light petal pink and see how it looks. And if it doesn't look very good, I can always put another one just over the top. But look at that. Can you see that? And I'm not coloring with the point because that breaks them. But I sure do like that. Huh. There you go. We'll just change up the color a little bit. And then these, maybe for the inside. So, do we want, let me get a couple of pieces here. Sorry, I wasn't quite ready. So here is a Calypso Coral that actually, to me, looks very close to that. But I think that's a pretty stark change. I think that looks pretty good, don't you? The petal pink. Yeah, 25% import tax is insane. So let me cut this down. And I'm going to cut it at 5.5, a normal layer size. But I'm going to make it 4 inches instead of 4.25. And I'm going to make sure that we see that little bit of the green on each side. And then I think I'll put those up there because pears are usually hanging from a tree. So, Stella, you get your image on the plain side this card. I thought I had 3 bottles of glue up here, but I must have been dreaming. Did you catch my granddaughter did videos this weekend? She was with us. She's pretty funny. Grandma, I want to do the video. You can just stand behind me and I'll ask you if I need anything. Okay. She's 7.5. Yeah, I don't think those are 2 colors that I would normally have put together. But it looks good. It even looks good with the old olive. All right, and then these we're going to put up in our imaginary tree. Now, I could use one of the repair veins from the Kintsugi Suite and make a branch. Whoops. That might be kind of fun. Oh, there's actually a branch in the pears. Huh. Maybe I should put a branch over here. Or a branch here. That might be an add-on. Watch my Facebook page to see if I add that on. Your daughter's 8? Well, you should have her do crafting videos with you. When I started out with Riley, she started crafting with me when she was not even 3. I think she was closer to 3 than she was to 2. Because I have pictures of her just a couple of months before her birthday, and she's sitting at the table all by herself with her block. And, you know, if she takes one of my kits, She'll be very meticulous about copying things. Now she's a branch everywhere. I could, because this is really pretty because it's got texture in there too. But she's only started doing videos with me, I think like this last, I don't know, half a year. Of course, time flies. I don't know, maybe it's longer than that. But she's really, some days she just cracks me up, and other days it's like, oh my goodness, what is going to come out of this child's mouth? Because she just starts talking about, like, she pulled out these butter mints the other day. She was calling them peanut butter mints, and she just started talking about candies, and I finally told her, well, that really has nothing to do with the card, so let's talk about the card. So, now, sentiment. We've got hello, or a good friend is a gift. I think I'm going to do a good friend is a gift. And I think I'm going to do that on the petal pink. Oh, that's interesting. Well, yes, you could do that because you can do your video with no sound and just narrate it afterwards. I think that would be cool. So, maybe I should emboss in white on an old olive. What do you think? Pretty in pink. No, petal pink. For a gift is a good friend, or a friend is a good gift. A good friend is a gift. Whew, can't get any of it right. So if I do, let me go get maybe some mossy metal. Let's see how it looks. Oh, I think my mossy metal needs to be re-inked. I got a lot of ink in here. Emboss on the old olive, that's what I'm thinking, because I don't know that this is going to look very good. Well, that's not too bad. Let's take the sentiment strip out of here and just see. Yeah, finish is not really one of those ones that we see a whole lot, you know, as language options. I hadn't anticipated the second card, or I would have had some of these things pre-cut, but we're doing all right. Oh, I think I like that. I think I like it. I probably should not try to sing. My husband will say don't sing. Of course, you know, when I started crafting with Riley, I told her that she needed to kind of be the silent partner and just listen to what I was saying until she got more familiar with the process, and then I let her talk, I think. Framing it with old olive or mossy meadow, that's a good idea. Let me get mossy meadow. I don't think I pulled out a piece of that. I like that idea. I'll just keep walking back and forth to my papers. You don't mind, right? Yes, that was the tune. All right, let me just slice a little bit off of here. We did lose some of the people that were watching, so I guess maybe they didn't want to do the second card. I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do with this. I might cut it twice and cut the branch in a brown, like early espresso, and then cut the leaves in another color. Or I could just do it on white and color it. We'll see. Stay tuned for that one. All right, let's go back to this piece and pull out the embossing folder one more time. So, oh, I missed that one. So Trump lost your president. He like couldn't find him in the room. Yeah, I could ink the edges, and I've done that before. And my Mossy Meadow is not well inked, so that could work. But I think what I'm going to do, how do I need to do this? I am going to, can you see what I'm doing here? I am going to put my plate up here. And I'm going to make this bigger. So I'm going to put part of my sentiment over the edge so that it only cuts out part of it. Hopefully this will work. Let's... I should probably put some washi tape on there. That might help me out. Give me some extra fingers. All right, that helps. All right, so I'm gonna put that over the edge. And then when we take this off, because it only cut part way through, I'm going to put it the rest of the way here and figure out how far I need to go here. So we'll go like to here, and I might have to snip a little bit, I suppose, but we'll see. We'll see how this works. So he was looking around for him, and your president said, "I'm right here." Trump was like, "Oh, yes, you are, and you're looking the best I've ever seen you look," or something like that. Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion, you know? And like we said earlier tonight, you know, you can't make everybody happy. So let's, ooh, look at that. One side did really good and the other side is almost there. That worked out actually pretty good. So I'm just going to snip this little frayed edge. And then let's see how this looks now. What do you think? I probably, yeah. What do you think? Or should I take the dimensionals off of this part? That might work better. I think that's a, yeah, it was a good suggestion, Fifi. So let's go ahead and I think I'll do it a little off this side. It does look really good framed. Can't believe I'm through another bottle of glue. because now I can put this up here and I can put some dimensionals behind there and glue that side. So let's do the dimensionals first, I guess. I think I just need to kind of put along the top, I guess. For goodness sakes. All right. So that goes there. Now, there must have been some embellishments with the pear. Here they are. So let's figure out, these are kind of flat. I think I can just use my fingers. I do love how crafting brings people together. We're all in it together, you know? So I am thinking the green rather than the Darling Duckling. There's only a little bit of, or that might be Daffodil Delight. It's pretty bright. But I think I'm going to put, well, that looks kind of silly. I'm not sure that I like that. So let's just put a couple in the flowers maybe. It'll add some glitz, and I'm going to use a bigger one too. What do you think? Whoops, didn't mean to slap my hand down there. Yes, the yellow I think is, it's nice and bright. It brings that in. The green I think would have gotten kind of buried. Although I could put a couple of green in there because I only have 3. You know, I could do 5. And these are flat enough, quite honestly. I could probably put a couple on the inside. They are super flat, which I like. I probably put that a little too close. But it's on there now because it is really stuck. That's kind of fun. A little more shimmer on the inside. Yeah, the yellow does stand out. I think it's a nice little accent there. All right. I think 2 cards is my limit for tonight. Yeah, and they're super flat. I mean, they're not even as thick as a dimensional. So, and you figure with the designer series paper rather than cardstock, it's a little flatter besides. So, I don't think I'm going to add the branch on because I don't really think I need it. I might put a branch on the inside, but I'm thinking probably not. Tough call. I'll cut it out and I'll see, but that'll be a project for tomorrow. So let me find, what did I do with our first card? Here it is. So with this one, with the envelope, I will add designer series paper because I did not do any embossing. So I will add designer series paper to that flap. I might stamp the pair of pears on the front of the envelope. We'll see. But I'll do that tomorrow. It's after midnight by me. Yeah, the branch might be kind of hard to place. I'd have to trim some of it off so it would be like a partial branch, but yeah, we'll see. So this Kintsugi one, this was one of the cards that I did at a swap. I don't remember if I showed this one, but I thought it was beautiful because they did the embossing on here and used the Spotlight on Nature circle die for there. And then we just did the fussy cutting around that and die cut and then used blends for the coloring. So I thought that was just pretty classic, kind of Japanese style card. I really liked that. So, all right, that's all I have, ladies. thank you for joining me. Thanks for collaborating. And I'm just going to do a quickie little note. Thank you for crafting with me. And then I'm going to say goodnight. One-handed typing is kind of slow for me. So thanks for stopping in. Thanks for collaborating. I do appreciate it. And I think we make better cards together because we see things that the other one doesn't see and have different ideas for color and stuff. But I think we did good tonight. So until tomorrow, happy crafting.